Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to another episode of Soirée Live Sprints at LTech. मेरा नाम बेगम सालिकबाल है and I am back with another female hero for Pakistan. Her name is Asna Javed and she's a hybrid cloud build team and developer advocacy lead at IBM Pakistan. And it is a great honor for me to be able to even talk to her today. So thank you so much, Asna, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Vinisal, for having me.
No, it's a great pleasure. So without wasting any more time, and I just want to really dive into your story because mashallah, so interesting and so inspirational. So tell us a little about your story and how you started your journey and how you landed at your current position.
So I was actually born and raised in Oman. Like during my early childhood and maybe in 8th and 9th grade, till then, I wanted to, be a lot of things like a lawyer, or sometimes I wanted to be a doctor, and so on and so forth. So when I completed my 10th standard, I realized that medical is not for me. I think the teacher played a very major part in that. So I was like, no, I don't want to go for medical. So my father was like, okay, let's do the pre-engineering and, let's see where you want to go. So I did my pre-engineering, got good marks, and then going further, I thought, okay, so maybe I want to be an architect. And back then, and this is like around 2009, we're talking about 2009. So computers were really in, right? So computer science and computer engineering, and it was really in. And my father was, and while growing up, I used to be always fascinated by computers, like how things are working. So it's obviously not just a screen. Must be something inside there and what's going on. So my father was like, you were always interested in that, so why don't you go for computer engineering rather than going for architecture engineering? So I was like, okay, let's do that. So I got in, and that's when like my whole interest developed even more. I was always fascinated, and then the whole backend and the programming and everything, it was like, wow, okay, so there's a world, an entire world behind these computers and these screens. So that was my journey for computer engineering. And then obviously I wanted to study further. So I came to Pakistan for doing my master's. A lot of people ask me why Pakistan, right? Why you were already.
I was going to ask you also.
So I don't really know. I came to Pakistan after I completed my bachelor's. I just came here. And then I gave a test, the GAT test, and then I just got selected. I was like, hey, okay, let's do this. So I did my master's in computer engineering here, but that was really a life-changing experience because you learn a lot when your environment changes. And I always used to read that, but when I experienced it, that's when I realized that that's true. Until or unless your environment doesn't change, you don't, learn in your life and you don't go further. So that was a very good experience for me. And I think during my last semester of master's, I got a job here. It was a IT consultant company. Just give me a minute. I think there's a background noise. All right. So during my last semester of master's, I got a job here in an IT consultant company. It was a US-based company. They were outsourcing in Pakistan. So I was very excited. Oh, first job, the first job is always exciting. I just joined that. And again, it was not my field. It was totally different from what I studied in computer engineering and computer masters, during masters. I was more towards networks and, wireless networks and ad hoc networks and so on and so forth. But when I joined this company, I was supposed to work as an SEO analyst. And I was like, what is SEO? So it was like, I learned everything from scratch. I did not know anything about SEO, SEM, what's going on, Google AdSense and all those things. So I was like, okay, you got this, let's do this. So again, I learned everything from scratch. I worked there for an year and a half. During this time, I actually came to know about IBM, which I didn't know that IBM was there in Pakistan. So I was like, let's try and apply for it. Wasn't expecting anything, to be very honest. I wasn't like thinking, oh, I'm gonna be in IBM. I just applied just like that. And funny story here is that I got a call after an entire year. So
Oh, wow. So you
yeah,
waited the whole year for them to get back to you? Yeah, भूल चुकी
and
थी.
actually I forgot about it. मुझे तो बिल्कुल याद ही नहीं था कि मैंने apply भी की. So one
Amazing.
day I get a call and someone says, I'm calling from IBM and this is a job. Would you like to be, would you be interested for an interview and all? So I was like, what IBM? What did I do there? So I said, okay, so I applied for it. So when I
Yeah.
applied, किसी के लिए किया था, anyways, got into something else. तो यहाँ पे ये हुआ कि normally the processes are a little bit extensive. They take a number of interviews, but in my case they actually took 6 interviews. So they were technical and non-technical. 3 of them were technical, 2 of them were non-technical, and one last one was like kar logi na. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So got into IBM as an intern, by the way. It was an internship program.
Wow.
Like
6 interviews for an internship.
It was a graduate internship program for an entire year. So
Wow.
what is there to lose? Let's do this. Like, who cares, right?
Absolutely.
So I just got in, and meanwhile I was also doing my other job, and then eventually I left that. I got permanent in IBM, and within a year I was also, within that year duration, I was also I became the lead of the team. So after that, yeah, and then I think rest is history. I got in here, and it was really interesting to actually secure the job, and then prove a lot of other people wrong. That so what if I'm female? So what if I'm not really a programmer back then? I wasn't a programmer back then. And again here, that I did not know anything about cloud back then, that what is cloud or what's going on, because again, not my field, so I wasn't really interested. And then I'm a person who did their master's, and the thesis was on data centers, like physical data centers and servers and energy, is the person who's now thinking about doing a cloud computing and all that. So I did not know much about it. I wasn't good with programming, I'll be honest. I actually didn't know much about programming at all, because engineering they don't teach you much of these programming languages. Rather, you get to learn about MATLAB and some basics of C++, and that's pretty much all.
That's it. Okay.
So then I was like, okay, it's okay, I can do this. So I learned the programming languages from scratch. I started with JavaScript. I was really, someone said, oh, it's really easy. Trust me, it's not really that easy.
I'm not even going to go near understanding what JavaScript is. Oh, sorry. I'm saying I'm not even going to go near JavaScript, because that's how difficult it seems to me. So I totally, when you say it's very, very difficult. So cloud computing, can you tell the viewers a little about what your job entails and what you have to do on a day-to-day basis?
So as my title suggests, I have 2 different things to manage. So I'm currently leading the hybrid cloud build team, which means that we co-create solutions with business partners using IBM's technologies. So that's what we do as a hybrid cloud build team person. And then I'm also leading the developer advocacy program. So the developer advocates basically, and a lot of people ask me, what's a developer advocate? Because up until last year, I was just a developer advocate. So a developer advocate is basically someone who helps developers and be enabled on latest technologies and trends and open source technologies as well. So basically what we do is we conduct these workshops, online workshops, and we also conduct, we used to conduct the on-site workshops previously. So we talk about different fields like AI, data science, blockchain, cloud native, Kubernetes, IoT. So these are the things that we talk about. We help them with hands-on workshops. By hands-on workshops, I mean that they actually follow us. Because if you just go and talk about something, people will just listen and they'll forget about it. But when they do the hands-on, That's when the interest develops. Oh, okay, so we can do this. Oh, this is how it works. So yeah, we help them, and more specifically, since I'm working for IBM, so my area is towards IBM Cloud. But yeah, we also focus on open source technology. So that's what the developer advocate is.
Wow. And who attends these, like when you do conduct these workshops, who are the major part of your audience?
Mostly university students and startups when we're doing these online workshops. But it is open for everyone. For obviously client-specific workshops, they are obviously client-specific, so they are not like open for everyone to attend. Yeah, but these workshops that we do online are open for everyone. So either you're a startup, you're a developer, you're a student, you just want to learn, you're just a technology enthusiast and want to learn, you're more than welcome to join.
And when it comes to like approaching partners in the same ecosystem and conducting workshops, COVID के बाद आपकी कुछ फर्क आया है in the response that you've been getting in both fields?
I think people are more comfortable joining online. I feel that way because they don't have to, get ready, and they don't have to travel to a certain location to actually attend those workshops. So what I learned is that online system of education, especially for when you're talking about the development and technology, is very helpful for developers. Developers are basically laid back people. They're like lazy. They're into their own zone. They're stuck
and it just saves time and everybody's time when it's online. So I know for that for one as well, things have become much easier for a lot of people after post-pandemic, for sure. That is true. So Asna, any pivotal period in your life where you had to shift your focus or change your lens about things in your personal life or your career life?
All right. So fun fact about me, I always state it as a fun fact. I was born without arms, so I'm differently abled. So for me, the whole life has been a pivotal period. So I think I was very young when I realized that I'm different. I'm around, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. I realized that, okay, I'm different because I don't look like others. And for me, I used to think that something is wrong with them. But I'm fine.
Absolutely, absolutely.
As a kid, I always had this kind of mindset. So yeah, I always think, see things in a different way, because since I'm different, I need to adjust to certain things, or I need to do things in a different way. By the way, I can do everything on my own. So I use my feet to type, write, to eat, to cook. I'm a very good cook. I make a very good lasagna. So and
I'll come have it someday.
For sure, you're always welcome. And my mom never
so impressive
anything. She's like, okay, do whatever you want to do. It's, she never said that you can't do it. या मतलब कि असना के हाथ नहीं है तो वो नहीं कर सकती, या उसको नहीं मतलब बोलो क्योंकि उसके हाथ नहीं है. So never, my mom never said like that. She like जो कर रही है करती रहे. She never cared.
And I feel like parents in immediate family have a big role to play in how you're even perceiving yourself, right?
So, yeah.
Like kudos to them. And what about when you came to Pakistan to study? Did you feel anything different, or were you perceived any differently in Pakistan when you came to study?
It was a completely different experience. So the thing was, when I was in Oman, people are very, they don't really care how you look. Okay, they don't care if you have arms or if you don't, the way you look, whatever. If you are differently abled or disabled or whatever, right? In Pakistan, people take it in a very way that, oh, what is this? Like, it's something that's unusual, right? So even now it happens, like when I'm in office sometimes and you're just going out for lunch or just for coffee or something, and I'm just walking and people would just, they will walk up to me and say, beta kya hua tha? Oh, beta ye paidaishi hai, beta bahut afsos hua. And sometimes before I used to, when I was a kid, I used to get very annoyed and irritated about it. But obviously you get used to it with the time. So now what I do is I'm a bit funny, goofy kind of person to sometimes come up with stories to entertain myself and the other person. So
that's a nice way of dealing with it.
I'm just like, yeah, but then I remember once someone came to me and asked me, "Ki, beta factory mein koi masla ho gaya tha, kuch hua." Look at me, I am like, do I look like a factory worker to this guy? And then I was like, yeah, and I just, went along with the story. So when everyone, my friends, they started laughing. They were like, "What were you thinking?" I'm like, "I don't know. What was he thinking?"
That's absolutely, and this is something like living in the Middle East. Even I feel like when you're living, like at least my experience in Bahrain, and I'm sure you would also agree for Oman, it feels like you're living in a bubble. And when you go to Pakistan, that bubble sort of pops, and you face different kinds of issues that you don't know how to exactly deal with, and you're like, this is different because everything is more pronounced in Pakistan. I feel reactions की मैं बात कर रही हूँ. So I'm pretty sure कि वो आपको शुरू में फिर feel हुआ होगा, and then now तो माशाल्लाह. How many years has it been since you've been in Pakistan now?
Almost 7-8 years now.
7-8 years. So अब तो back of your hand वाली बात हो गई.
अब तो आदत हो गई.
जबरदस्त. So now coming back to your work, and I just wanted to ask if there's a particular leadership lesson that you received or that is unique to female leaders.
So what I learned was, and this was my time during my internship with LinkedIn in California. So I learned that if you have done something, if you have achieved something, so it's perfectly all right to talk about it. It's like you're stating the facts. You're not showing off. हमने देखा है कि स्पेशली इन पाकिस्तान जो है वो ख्वातीन को लगता है कि यार अच्छा ठीक है मैंने मतलब आपके एंड वी डोंट सेलिब्रेट आवरसेल्व्स तो आपका मतलब छोटी सी भी कोई अचीवमेंट है तो हमें लगता है कि यार अगर यार छोड़ो ये क्या बताना बोलेंगे शो ऑफ कर रही है या समथिंग लाइक दैट सो it's perfectly all right to talk about it because you achieved it, right? You have done it, so you can talk about it. It doesn't matter what other person thinks about what you're saying. If they think you're showing off, be a show off. Why not, right? Because you have achieved that. You have worked so hard to get that, and we need to celebrate ourselves. As a woman, we need to celebrate ourselves.
Absolutely. So, I think we've been socialized into downplaying ourselves and our achievements. So ये जो आप कह रही हैं, it really needs to be highlighted that you're not. It's not showing off if you're just talking about what you've achieved in life, and that's we need to normalize this. Yeah. And any work-related advice that you would like to give to girls or women out there who are listening?
So during my time at IBM, obviously, during my work time, anyways, like you always do something that is not right. कभी कोई गलतियां हो जाती है. So what I learned was that every mistake is a learning opportunity. So don't think about because I did something wrong, it's the end of the world. No, you just learn that next time if you're in a certain situation or a similar situation, you have to, what you have to avoid and what you have to do. So I think every mistake is a learning opportunity.
That's true. And abhi ek do din pehle I was talking to a friend and we were just talking about how whatever mistakes we made when we were younger, I kind of thank myself for them because that's what I have become based on those mistakes and learning from those mistakes, learning from not repeating those mistakes. And it's really important to know कि हमने जिंदगी में क्या-क्या गलतियां की हुई हैं और career में भी क्या-क्या गलतियां की हुई हैं because you will only be able to improve yourself once you know where you went wrong. So exactly. Very, very valid thing. Any skills you've developed in your personal and professional sphere that have assisted you throughout?
I would say communication skills. Communication is very, very important because sometimes you're really good at something, but you don't know how to express yourself. You don't know how to tell that you're really good at this. And, even when you go for a job interview, if you're not good at communication, they'll think, okay, this person is not good enough. So communication skills are very, very important, whether it's between the teams or whether you're, working with your colleagues or even with your own family members or with your friends. Communication is very important. We need to focus more on communication skills, even in schools and colleges and universities, because sometimes kids are very, very, very brilliant and bright, but unfortunately, since they're not good with communications, they don't go a long way.
That's true. And वही बात हो जाती है that you are your own brand, so you need to make sure that you present yourself that way. जो मैं काम करती हूँ, because I'm from the education sector also, so I feel that a lot of times there are, like you said, brilliant students, but they can just not talk about it and they cannot effectively communicate, and hence they don't land jobs that they should be landing. So I feel like ये एक बहुत बड़ी चीज है जो एजुकेशन में भी रह जाती है, करियर बिल्डिंग में, करियर काउंसलिंग में भी रह जाती है, कि to be able to communicate and present yourself as worthy of the job or whatever work a person is doing. One thing that you do every single day that helps you make be a better version of yourself.
I normally reflect upon my own self, to be very honest. So I'm the kind of person who don't compare myself with others. I compare myself with my own self. Like, okay, so yesterday you achieved these things, or maybe I don't go a long way back, but I just say, okay, so yesterday I did these things, and I can do this today as well. I can do better today. So this is something that motivates me a lot. That okay, so you did this yesterday, and you can do better today. So let's do this. So I think.
So Asna, you do this every day. Like you do this self-reflection every day.
Yeah, I mean, there's some time in the day I'm like, okay, just think about it, Asna. Like you did it, so don't worry, you got this. So it's really important to reflect upon your own self. Self-reflection is very important. Sometimes we just look at others and we're like, oh, उसने वो कर दिया, उसने वो achieve कर लिया, या even normally day-to-day ऑफिस कम्युनिकेशंस में भी किसी ने थोड़ा आपसे अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा होगा या कुछ ऐसी चीज होगी जो उसको एप्रिसिएशन मिल रही है, तो डोंट फील लाइक कि यार आई एम लैकिंग या आई एम अनएबल टू आई एम नॉट गुड इनफ, इस तरह से जस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट अपॉन योरसेल्फ एंड से hey, you did this yesterday and you can do better today, so let's do this. And yeah, rest, you're gonna be successful in life.
I hope I can learn this from you. कि मैं रोज बैठ के थोड़ा सा रिफ्लेक्ट करूं. मैं तो by the time I'm done with the day, I go off to sleep without even thinking for anything at all. So it's really important to take out that time to reflect. And होता है ना कभी कभार लाइफ में आप ups होते हैं और downs होते हैं in terms of how busy you are. And I think I'm just going through one of those ups, so no time to even reflect. And when the times are good, then you actually take out time and reflect on yourself. And it is
you should do this.
You perform better. You're right. You perform better when you are reflecting. Coming to the general arena of women in STEAM, in all the STEAM fields, आपको क्या लग रहा है कि what is lacking in general for women?
मुझे लगता है कि एक तो opportunities कम है और उनके बारे में अवेयरनेस उससे भी ज्यादा कम है. लाइक जो अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं भी ख्वातीन को, लड़कियों को ये नहीं पता कि क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज है, तो उनको कोई गाइड करने वाला नहीं है, उनको वो प्रॉपर एक चैनल नहीं है जहाँ पे उनको समझ आए कि अच्छा मैंने जाना तो है स्टीम में लेकिन किस तरह से जाना है, या क्या अचीव करना है, या कौन सी फील्ड्स हैं जहाँ पे मैं जा सकती हूँ. बाय द वे ऑल द फील्ड्स आर एक्सेसिबल फॉर वुमेन. एक तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि हमने ये चीज निकालनी होगी दिमाग से कि क्योंकि हम लड़कियां नहीं कर सकते. हाँ, ये चीज तो नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं आनी चाहिए. लेकिन द मोर थिंग आई वुड से कि एक तो अपॉर्चुनिटीज कम है और जो है उनके बारे में अवेयरनेस नहीं है. सो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, दिस इज स्टिल लैकिंग, एंड आई थिंक I hope that in near future, even through your platform, we create that awareness जहाँ पे ख़वातीन को पता हो कि even young girls, they know कि अच्छा हम what we can do in life and what we can achieve and what are the things that that the opportunities that are available for us. Yeah, that's very important.
So taking the conversation further, अगर मैं IBM की बात करूँ और opportunities IBM की बात करूँ, for all the young girls who are listening, अगर आप उनको अपना करियर पाथ या आप जनरली IBM की भी अपॉर्चुनिटीज के बारे में बताना चाहें, तो where do you think they should start looking? Where do you think they should start studying, like choosing for their there might be girls in colleges who are listening, there might be girls, or there might even be women who want to come back to work. तो क्या अगर उन्होंने मास्टर्स नहीं किया हुआ या बैचलर्स नहीं किया हुआ इस फील्ड में, क्या उनके लिए दरवाजे बंद हैं या वो कुछ कोर्सेज करके वापस आ सकती हैं, और कौन से कोर्सेज?
बिल्कुल उनके लिए दरवाजे खुले हुए. इट्स डेफिनेटली नॉट लाइक दैट. IBM is a very, very big advocate of diversity and inclusion. IBM don't judge you for the way you look or for your gender or even for your educational background. With me, there are so many women, men who are, from different fields. They've done electronics or electrical engineering and so on and so forth, and they're working for IBM and they're good developers, coders. So what I would say is even for young girls, firstly ye hai ki, there are a lot of platforms, even like recently IBM ने platform launch किया है Open PTech के नाम से, जहाँ पे that is specifically for young students, high school students से, पाकिस्तान के अंदर भी है वो launch, it's launched for Pakistan as well. It's an online platform जहाँ पे you can learn about artificial intelligence, you can learn about blockchain, you can learn about cloud native, cloud computing, and programming in general. So if you're interested in these fields, go ahead, explore it, learn them, get those badges that are free of costs available, or start your journey. It's never too late. It's not like कि आपने अगर क्योंकि आप नहीं पढ़ा नहीं कर सके, so now you think कि अच्छा मैंने नहीं करना. If you have an interest, देखिए, it all matters on your passion. So even if it's IBM or Microsoft or AWS or Google, they have so many platforms, so many places that allows you to do your own self-paced learning free of cost. So if you're passionate enough, and the passion is very, very important. So आपको कुछ करना है achieve life के अंदर, then go ahead, do these learnings and apply for jobs. Don't feel like I'm not good enough. होगा क्या? Either you'll get rejected or you won't pass the interview. Doesn't matter, right? At least, right? Keep on trying. It's
experience मिलेगा to be able to give an interview, to be able to run a full course. और वो लड़की को शुरू में है अपने career path के, उनके लिए आपके लिए क्या advice है?
देखिए, मेरी एक एडवाइस ये है कि बी फ्लेक्सिबल. मैंने देखा है बहुत सारे फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट्स, लड़कियां, लड़के जो भी हैं, दे वुड बी लाइक नहीं, हमें सिर्फ एक ही फील्ड में काम करना है, हमने सिर्फ डाटा साइंटिस्ट बनना है या हमने सिर्फ फुल स्टैक डेवलपर बनना है. दे नॉट ओपन फॉर दिस फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी. सो आई वुड से बी ओपन, बी फ्लेक्सिबल, आप विलिंग हो लर्न करने के लिए. Don't be rigid कि बस मैंने यही फील्ड करनी है. फर्स्ट करें, फॉर एग्जांपल, जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट. आज से 2 साल पहले जो स्मार्टफोन हम यूज कर रहे हैं वो आज हम यूज नहीं कर रहे, राइट? सो द टेक्नोलॉजी इज चेंजिंग एवरी 6 months. 6 months आजकल तो इवन इट्स लाइक 4 to 3 months टेक्नोलॉजी इज चेंजिंग, राइट? सो इफ यू विल बी रिजिड, फॉर एग्जांपल आप कहते हो कि मैंने सिर्फ जो है ना एक सर्टेन प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में ही प्रोग्रामिंग करनी है. व्हाट इफ इट बिकम्स ऑब्सोलीट? देन व्हाट? You would start from scratch. So better to be flexible instead of being rigid and willing to learn more things. So I would advise to all the young girls out there who are just starting their career, be open for opportunities. Jo milta hai, go for it, learn and work on it. Don't say कि अच्छा मेरी ये field नहीं, मैंने नहीं करना.
That's true, and you're right. Technology is changing literally every other day now, so it's really, really important. आखिरी क्वेश्चन पूछने से पहले मेरे अभी जहन में एक सवाल आया कि you moved from Oman to Pakistan and now you're working since 7 years. So has there been a point where you want to go back to Oman or go somewhere else and then pursue your work? Yeah, you are where you are like, this is where I want to put all my focus on.
I do visit Oman a lot, almost every year. I visit my
But like moving wise, work wise.
Magar nahi. I was in America when I was doing my internship and the Tech Women experience, the whole thing, and I felt like mere jaisa, like I want to go back to Pakistan. And after learning all those things, I wanted to come back and give it back to my society. So मुझे होता है कि नहीं, I think अपनी country में जो इज्जत आपको मिलती है, जो प्यार आपको मिलता है, and then the satisfaction of giving back to society. You won't get that out. I mean, yes, Oman is it's my first home, I'll be honest. I love Oman. Yeah. But when you're talking about my career, I think I would stay in Pakistan. And even if I go out for PhD, I'll come back to Pakistan.
That's very motivational, at least for me also, because I've been sitting out of Pakistan. Hota na, like ek urge hoti hai to just give back, so can totally relate on that. You spoke very little about your Tech Women experience. Would you want to shed a little bit of light on that before we close with the last question?
So Tech Women is basically a US State Department program. It's fully funded. It's a scholarship program for women in the STEM background, stream, you can say that. So I would suggest to all the young professionals, you just need to have 2 years of experience, and that's it. So go for it. It's actually a life-changing experience, to be very honest. When you go there, and during my cohort, we had like 108 women from 21 different countries. They were from MEA region and Asia, MEA, and so I felt like I was a part of the community with strong women. That was so inspiring. So everyone had their own story, their own achievements, and it motivated me as a person. And I made, it's not just about that whole experience, it's about a lifetime friendship with those women. And we're still in contact, and we are talking, and we're laughing about things. But the thing was that you get to learn so much, that there's so many strong women out there, and you can be one of those. So absolutely. Any woman who's watching this, I would say, go for it, apply for the program. And again, if you don't get accepted in the first try it again. Because there was a lot of women with me who got selected after the 5th or 6th time. I mean, just think about it. So don't give up.
Persistence. मतलब 5 बार apply करना वही माशाल्लाह commendable है. That's amazing. How to if you can guide the younger girls, how can they apply for it, and what time commitment is required?
उनकी I think इस साल की तो खत्म बंद हो गई है application, so it opens in the end of November, I believe November, December. Not sure कि अभी उनका किस तरह से, because उन लोगों ने थोड़ा सा अपना timeline change किया. उनकी website है techwomen.org, so go there.
I'll be sharing the link. Yes.
Yeah. Commitment, it's a 45 days the program hai almost, and if you're working, just talk to your managers, and your most of the time they're very, very understanding. Like in my case, my manager was very understanding. In fact, she was very excited too that I am going for this. So most of the cases, the managers are very, very understanding. Talk to them, tell them that this is the commitment. Even if it's like, if they say, okay, we cannot give paid leave, go for an unpaid leave, because this would be very, very helpful for you as to become a leader. And then the way you'll be inspired and motivated, it will be priceless, trust me.
Amazing, inshallah. So that's just really good to know, and thank you so much. Last question, your message for LTech and women in STEAM.
I think LTech is doing a great job. Keep on doing that. You guys are inspiring women, you guys are empowering them, so kudos to that. And for women in STEAM, I would say, don't give up. It's, हम लोग बहुत आसानी से we just give up on things. So don't give up if things don't work out. If something that's not for you and you feel like, okay, I failed in this, try something else, because there's always other options available. But giving up should not be an option for you.
Absolutely. And there are some younger girls I counsel and mentor, and I tell them that when you really believe in something, then आप जिद्दी हो जाओ, लेकिन आप पीछे पड़े रहो, कहीं ना कहीं से अल्लाह ताला रास्ते निकाल देते हैं. So exactly. It's really important to not give up. Thank you so much for giving us your time, Asna. It was so nice to hear about your story, your journey, and I'm going to be sharing, with your permission, a few of your links in the comments of this video. And if people want to reach out to you, maybe they can connect with you through LinkedIn, if that's okay. And inshallah, we will definitely be in touch. And there's so much more to learn from you, I'm sure. So we're definitely going to be in touch with you in the future as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bevasal, for having me. And thank you so much, relative. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you to all the viewers who are watching. We'll be back with another episode. Until then, apna khayal rakhiyega, and be very, very, very ziddi about whatever it is that you believe in, and never give up. Allah Hafiz.